What's up, guys? You're listening to another episode of Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. I'm excited for this episode today, guys. This has been a long time coming for this episode, but today we have my agency partner, Owais Amin, here to talk to us about, we're going to talk Amazon strategy. We're going to talk about things that we're doing for our clients and how we could potentially help you as well. So if you're someone that's maybe looking for help, management, one-time services, we're going to talk a lot about the different options that we have for you guys that are available. Owais is going to share some of his expertise so you guys can get to know him, and we'll give you guys kind of the backstory of how we got partnered, how we got connected. So Owais, I appreciate you taking the time to hop on the podcast today. Let's start quickly with your backstory. Tell us just a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from and your experience with selling on Amazon.
First of all, thank you for having me, Andy. Yeah, the backstory must be pretty exciting for people. So I'm from Pakistan, Lahore. It's kind of the second largest city of Pakistan. By qualification, I'm a doctor, which is equal to MD in USA. So we call it MBBS here in Pakistan. Pretty strange. People don't expect usually doctors to come into such fields. But then I had the curiosity and interest for e-commerce that I explored a bit of stuff. Got to know Amazon is the largest marketplace in the whole world. Explored a bit about that. And around in 2017, 2018, I launched my own brand on Amazon. And then we were kind of a part of a small network in Pakistan. So from one brand, it expanded to 3 to 4 brands in which I had my partners with me. From there, it was a good experience. A good learning experience. Okay, so you can sell in USA from anywhere in the world. The practical example. It kind of excited me, the potential, the networking, a lot of things. And it was like, we were gathering in a place and someone is saying, okay, so I'm not sure how to use ManyChat. In those days, ManyChat was at the boom. I said, okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F, all these steps. He said, man, you're too good. Can you provide the service part? I said, okay, why not? Because, it was not taking much time being a seller. That kind of, laid the foundation for my transition from the brand owner to the service guy. So a very fun. And then in 2019, around one brand of mine failed on Amazon due to patent, and 2 of them I took exit after 2 to 3 years. So those were running mutually, and then I decided in 2020 to put full focus on the service part. And at that time, I took exit from the brand and laid foundation of the agency. From there up till now, agency stuff is going on. So this is how it is.
Yeah. So you got started just before we did. I know you mentioned like 2017, 2018. We got started in 2018, 2019. And it's interesting because your story of kind of transitioning from brand owner, right, seller on Amazon, to, agency owner, right, doing service for others and helping them manage their brands and grow their brands. You mentioned, when you were running your brands, you're like, hey, I got some extra time. Like, why not, right? If people are asking for help and I got some extra time, obviously it's another business opportunity. And that was very similar to how my coaching journey was born as well. Back in 2018, 2019, I wasn't doing a podcast. I wasn't offering coaching services or anything like that. But my friends, it started with my friends, right? People close to me, and they just kept asking like, hey, Andy, how are you doing this? Like, how did you do it? And so I was like, okay, fine. I record the podcast, go listen for free. But then it just evolves, right? People are like, Andy, the podcast isn't enough. We want coaching. We want mentorship. Can you mentor me? Can you help me? I'm like, okay, sure. Why not? And then now it's since evolved into, I've had a lot of hundreds of students really listen to the podcast, launch products and brands, to now a lot of these students over these past couple of years have gone to the next step where it's like, Andy, like I listened to your podcast, I took your coaching program, I've launched my brand, and now I just need some help. Like I'm just doing this by myself. I need someone to help me with this to grow it and manage it. And so, our agency was born. Our agency now is called Weavos, and I partnered with Owais near the end of 2023. I think if I remember Owais, it was around October probably that we connected. And I've told a lot of my students this. I wanted to see, how good Owais was and how good his team was before we decided to make this type of partnership. So I've actually had his team work on my own brand, on our Remy and Rue brand, and help manage that, the advertising, the marketing, the offers, optimizations, all sorts of different things with the brand to make sure that, it was legitimate before obviously we launched this thing and, give it out to you guys, podcast listeners and students. So it's been a great experience. We've onboarded a bunch of students over these last 6 or 7 months now. And we've seen some awesome results, some really cool case studies that we're going to talk about a little bit more here on the podcast today. But Owais, I want to go back just really quickly because I'm really curious about this. And I've told students this. I've told students and clients that I've done calls with to bring them on board as new clients, making an introduction of you and our team and what we're doing. And I've told people, yeah, Owais actually has a medical degree. I've told people like, this guy is really smart. He knows his stuff. He's a really sharp guy. He has a medical degree. And then kind of the follow-up question there is, why did you decide to go into e-commerce instead of pursuing medicine? Is in the US, being a doctor is like a very elite status field, like good pay, like I said, like well respected in the community. Why e-commerce over medicine?
Right now, I have around 30 plus of my class fellows who are MD in USA right now. So one is in Houston, another was in Chicago. So just 1 hour back, I was having a call with my friend who is right now going to do the fellowship of being a cardiologist in USA. So it was an interesting journey and transition of mindset, I would say, Andy. Very interesting stuff. My family background is from business side. So my father has done business all over his life. And then again, the journey or the route in which we were going, the medical part, that is more like a self-employed part. You are running the show. If you're not there, none of your assistant can run the show. Until unless there are a few examples which I got to know later when I jumped into the business part, like dialysis center or any such part. Otherwise, if you're a surgeon, you need to be there. If you're not there, things are not working. If you're a physician, you need to be there. So when I used to sit in my father's network, there was one thing. Okay, so they're scaling, and they're like, everything is not being done by them. And then on the other hand, I had an eye on my HODs, head of departments, and my principal, because I was the class rep and I had a good interaction with the senior layer. So I used to see what is their routine, like from 8 to 2, they are in the hospital. Then they are in a board of director meeting from 2 to 4. Then they are doing their own clinic from 5 to maybe 10. And then if they are on leave on one day, they're not making money on that day. If they are on holidays, maybe to Dubai or to USA for any fellowship kind of stuff, they're not making money on that week. If they move from one city to another, like family moving, they're not making money because in new city, no one knows them. So they need to build up the things from scratch. That was the back-end logic. Okay, so you can't scale beyond your own limits. I mean, your limit is your hours. Maximum 12, 13, 14 hours per day. You can't grow further. What to do? Okay, so then I used to see the comparison example of my father's network. Okay, so they are business people, they are growing, they're scaling and everything. Then I saw, okay, so in the retail world, on the physical world, it's hard to do business. I am doing my full-time medical job, how to do that? At that time, a friend of mine said, okay, so I'm doing freelancing. Do you know about this, the medical freelancing? I said, no, I don't. He said, okay, so if you do this, you do that, from the medical writing, etc., you can make money. That kind of intrigued me. And from there, I started exploring the entrepreneurship, startups, online selling. And one day, I came across a program which was teaching how to sell on Amazon. And everything was making perfect sense for me. So I don't need to be in USA. My odds are not confined. I can sell whatever I want. I can have a brand of maybe 100 products. Even I can have an agency of maybe 1,000 people. So things are scalable. I am taking the location independence, location leverage. I'm taking the leverage of people's on. So that is what the business is. That transition happened while I was in 4th year, and my medical year is of 5 years, and then the 6 years of house job. The internship part, I didn't skip it that time. I completed the next 2 years. Then after that, I said goodbye. My whole family, my friends, they were after me. They were like, you're mad, you're crazy, you're stupid. And they said everything until they see me as a success story after 2 to 3 years.
This is why Owais was different, because again, I remember this Owais. I remember when I got your email. I get messages every single day. Multiple emails, multiple Instagram DMs from agency owners, from people, a lot of people in Pakistan, in India, other countries saying, hey, we want to partner. Hey, I want to be on your podcast. Hey, I want to do this and that. I get so many of these messages, and most of them, guys, I don't even reply. I just go delete, delete, delete. And if it's on Instagram, I say delete, block, so that they don't keep messaging me and wasting my time. But for some reason, and I'm an intuition guy, like I follow my gut, I follow my intuition, revelation, whatever you want to call it. And Owais was different. Like, I don't know. I just like felt something different. I was like, this guy is different. And then we did a call. And after talking to Owais, I was like, wow, this guy's smart. Like, this guy knows his stuff. And so just like hearing your story there about having that realization of like, which is totally true about the medical field. And Owais, I don't know if you actually know this. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I used to work in the medical field. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to medical school, but I worked for a medical device company So we sold the tooling and equipment to surgeons, orthopedic surgeons. So we are one of the biggest global suppliers of orthopedic surgeon equipment. And so we worked very closely with surgeons, with hospitals and clinics and things. And you're right, like the surgeon is the value. So if the surgeon's not there, he has to be there really to make the money. He has to perform the surgery. If he's on vacation, he's not getting paid, right? So having that realization of, like Amazon, e-commerce, online business is, location independence. You can get paid on the weekend. I tell people all the time, like I get paid every Saturday and Sunday from Amazon. I don't do anything. So that is the beauty of this business model. It's very interesting to hear that from someone like you who made that connection and took that leap of faith when everyone in your family and everyone thought you were insane for ditching a medical career for Amazon, e-commerce. Like that's crazy. But obviously it's worked out for you. We're doing some cool things. You've been doing some cool things for years, obviously, which is a big reason why I was super confident partnering with you guys and, kind of bringing this together as our agency, essentially kind of piecing together all of our different experiences where we've both owned brands on Amazon. We both have different perspectives, which I think has just kind of upped the game a little bit for both of us and for our clients. We've been kind of fine tuning over these past 6 or 7 months, kind of like our different offerings, our different services. And I'll just say this really quickly, guys, for those of you that are listening, there's information on my website. There's a link in the description. You can go to my website. You can, even if you're like not really sure what you need from our services, just fill out, there's a get started form, fill it out. We'll reach out, we'll connect and make sure that we're getting the right services for you. But we've been trying to figure out, what do you guys need? And over the course of 4 years now that I've been coaching, I have students who come to me and say, Andy, I need help with this. 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 Like all these different things. So we've been kind of piecing together some different offers that are good for you guys and at a great price. That's another awesome benefit of partnering with Owais and his team is we're able to get you guys really, really competitive prices, but expert level execution. Owais, talk about, maybe just for a few minutes, let's just talk about maybe some of these services, gigs, management, things that we're able to provide for Amazon brand owners and maybe some results and some, we could say, case studies that we've been able to get for some of these clients of ours.
So I would start with the expertise part, with the services part. You guys need to see the background from which Andy is coming, from which I'm coming. So when Andy say he has launched his own brand, which is still there, my team is managing and everything, and he is coaching. So the experience is pretty diverse here. When Andy say hundreds of students, someone is maybe in one niche, someone in the other niche, someone is doing high price products, someone is doing low price product, etc., etc. So the experience is pretty diverse. And similarly, if you guys see me on my side, for first 3.5 years, or I would say 4 years, majorly I help people to launch their brand on Amazon from scratch. So when I say this, it's like I'm not working particularly on the PPC management. It's like from start, hunting a product, validating that, then design development, then sourcing, etc., till the end stage. This background experience, I would say, helps us to be differentiated as compared to other people. It's not like I'm saying, okay, Andy, guys, we have experience of around 8 years in PPC management, and now we are the best in that. Because what we believe is, issue or failure in PPC is only 30% of all the issues. More than that, the issue is in your SEO. Like I'm going to share the case study related to that as well. In your SEO, in your product offer, in your listing, in your creatives, in your pricing strategy, in your branding strategy. So these are the things. PPC is not everything. It is a chunk of everything. So, and our diverse background and experience puts us in those shoes where we can see that whole sphere, where we can see everything, and we can tell people that okay, and this is what happens usually. Andy knows that pretty good. Like a client come and they say, okay, so the issue is not on your PPC, you're doing pretty good, you're spending crazy. The issue is in your conversion. That's why you're not ranking, you're not getting organic order, etc., etc. So that is after all this background, why we say ourselves full service Amazon agency, because in the world of private label, we cover everything. Having said this, when I say we cover everything, this is kind of an insight about the services we offer. Starting from, you have a product in your mind. Is it good fit for market? If yes, what should be the pros and the cons? Which design you should go with? Most of the time, people jump into a niche, and the niche has maybe 10 billion monthly revenue on Amazon, which is pretty good. But they pick up a design which is the worst among all the available designs. So they don't know. Or sometimes They do sourcing at high price. So all these kind of things, design selection, the market validation, then the sourcing part, the creative part, then PPC. And I must highlight this part right here. When we say PPC, it is kind of, you can say, based upon our experience or our backgrounds. We cannot hold ourselves to PPC. So we provide PPC plus SEO. That is pretty a plus point. Because the organic order share and the tacos part, that is where you differentiate from other PPC guys who do not take ownership of managing your SEO part. So we do that as well. And then again, just recently, that's pretty interesting and that's pretty worth mentioning kind of thing. We are working with a client where we are managing, like they are an existing brand on Amazon and we are managing their brand expansion part. When we say this, it means, let's say if you have a goal of adding 5 to 10 products per annum, we strategize, we break down that vision into small goals and chunks, and based upon that we do the product research and additional parts and the sourcing, etc., all these kind of things, because we can provide you everything under one umbrella. That's pretty time saving, I would say. Otherwise, contacting with a PPC guy, contacting with an SEO guy, then for the creative you need to talk yourself. Having everything under one umbrella, that saves your time and cost. So a bit of highlight, I would say, about the services part.
I'm just going to add in a case study for my own brand for Remy and Rue, just to kind of highlight that, it's not just about the PPC management. Because with our Remy and Rue brand, we have, I'm forgetting now, which is showing you how many SKUs. We have over 90 SKUs, I'm pretty sure. 90 SKUs. And I was doing all the PPC management myself. Like that was my role within our brand. But I was realizing like, I don't really have the time to manage this. Like I could, and it was doing good. Like it's not like, obviously it was set up and it was performing well. But as far as like, there was a lot of stuff that was just kind of slipping through the cracks with, going and adding negative keywords and adjusting bids and doing things like that. And so it has been awesome to be able to kind of push that over to our team and have them manage that. But in addition to just like the PPC, right? Fine tuning and launching new campaigns and things, my account manager, Fahad, has done a great job so far with me to help me optimize all my listings. So we're going, and we use ClickUp, by the way. So we're using a project management tool to help us stay organized with this. But every month, I set the priority SKUs because I know as the brand owner, right? And you'll likely know if as a brand owner, like the seasonality and which of your SKUs sell better at which times of year. And so we have a nice Google sheet and we have the priority SKUs for the month. We set up the projects, the tasks in ClickUp for, setting up whether it's enrolling new SKUs in Vine, whether it's optimizing the title, the key features in the description, whether it's adjusting price points, whether it's setting up promos, all those different things for those priority SKUs every month. And we have one of our SKUs right now that went from ranking, I think it was ranking outside the top 100 and has been ranked the number one SKU on Amazon in our niche, obviously, for like the past 2 weeks now from the optimization we did on it last month. So just like chipping away at that has been awesome to help us fine tune all of these listings that have kind of, I guess, piled up over time for our brand that we just simply didn't have time. And I know a lot of you guys, right, listening, just maybe don't have the time to do that, to optimize, to run brand experiments, to split test titles and update keywords during the seasonality. And so again, like I always said, that's something that we really try to focus on too. It's not just about, let's just go like throw up a bunch of advertising campaigns and spend a bunch of money and then keep giving you excuses on why it's not working. We've brought clients into our agency from other agencies, and I'm not trying to like single any agency out or throw shade or anything, but the truth is like a lot of agencies out there just want to spend your money and they'll just keep telling you like, oh, we need more time. It takes time to rank. You got to spend more to show the algorithm that you want to rank more. And it's just a big kind of mask for a really long time when the real problem, the real issue behind the mask is your actual offer, your listing itself, the pricing, what it is, the packaging. We've been working with some clients to do all that kind of stuff as well. In fact, one other client I'll just share really quickly. Actually, this is one we're about to onboard right now. They approached us needing some guidance with their Amazon PPC. They already have someone who manages their PPC. This brand, they're already paying someone, an American PPC expert to manage their advertising. We did an audit, free audit, just to look over and see how things were going. We found a whole bunch of gaps, a whole bunch of holes that they're not really filling just in the PPC side. But then at the bigger picture, I looked at the listing, we looked at the listing, and we looked at their products and we're like, we need to fix the branding. We need to fix the design. We need to fix the packaging. We need to fix the offer. Let's do that. Let's focus on that because that's going to have a much, much bigger long-term impact than us just tweaking PPC advertising campaigns and doing better there. So that's another value add, like I said, that we're doing to help our clients perform better.
I would like to add one thing here, just so people can grab or get better insight on this part. So we have this formula which we do, or which we use while we audit and take a brand on board. It gives us indicator like where to give our attention first. So it's a 5-layer stuff. So the first step is the market depth. We see if there's enough depth in the market. Like let's say you're doing a product in which no one is making more than $2,000 per month. Okay, so guys, Amazon is not a demand generating platform, it's a demand capturing platform. So even if you put best effort on the PPC, there is not enough demand for the product. So that is kind of a filter out stuff. But then on the second layer, we get to offer part, like Andy was just explaining about the recent client we onboarded. Is your offer optimized? This is what everyone says. I mean, every big seller on Amazon, if you check out their content, this is what everyone says. This is what everyone says is their secret sauce of success. Is your product better than competitors? This is what we say offer. Is your offer better optimized? Your product shows up in the search result as compared to 5,000 other products. Is it going to be a better choice for the people or not? The offer optimization. So we check out this part. Then in the third layer, this is your sourcing part. Most of the time people say they're not making money. Then again, their advertising cost, that's not high, but their margins are low. And they fail to realize that. Like just recently, and they did the sourcing rehaul and the re-effort, everything. And we managed to reduce the cost by 50% for a client. So this is the third part. I mean, no matter how good your PPC is, you're not going to get profitable. And the bottom line is to get profitable. Then the fourth layer is in generic words or in e-commerce simple language, you can say your landing page optimization. In Amazon word, you can say the product detail page optimization. So your creatives, your SEO, your A+ content, your video, etc., all this kind of thing. And then the fifth layer is PPC, where you know that your product is going to convert. It is better than others. Your creatives, your landing page is better than others. The market is asking for product. The market is hungry. Now you bring on the traffic and run the show. What people do is most of the time, like other people in the market, they take you on board, they start managing your PPC, assuming that you know the first 4 points. And the irony is you do not know the first 4 points, because as a brand owner, you do not know that. They expect you to do that, because I'm not blaming, but they say pretty clearly that guys, we are going to manage your PPC only. And then you say, okay, so that's what you need. But you do not only need that part. You need PPC once the above 4 steps are sorted. So when like Andy was saying, the free audit, we check out the brand, the listings from this perspective, and they figure out the strategy to make it profitable. And it happens that most of the time, or it's not most of the time, in some cases, we discuss, Andy and I, we both discuss and we say, okay, so this brand has some inherent issues and it's not going to be worthy to take them on board for PPC. We can, but then again, there is step 1, 2, 3, which needs to be sorted, which is going to take 4-5 months. Then after that, the PPC is going to be fruitful, and we say no to these clients, which is pretty hard, but we say no. Yeah, so another worth mentioning stuff in this part.
That's a really good point. I was actually going to add that, but you added it for me. I was going to say, guys, we say no to people. There's a lot of agencies out there. Again, they just want money. They just want your money. So yeah, it's just like a kind of just a big mask of, oh yeah, like of course we can run your ads. Like when people come to me, right? And they're like, Andy, we want your agency to run our PPC. Of course we can do that. Absolutely. But if it's not going to make a difference, it's not honorable of us to do that. It's not honorable of us to bring you on, charge you money every month to manage your ads, knowing deep down, like, this is not going to work. This is not going to make a difference because you have, like always said, those first 4 steps of the process have issues. So that's something, again, that's one of our core values, is like, we're not going to bring on clients unless we know we can make a difference, or obviously feel very, very confident, and we can help you through those other things. So maybe you do have issues with 1, 2, 3, 4, but instead of leaving you out to dry, we're going to help you solve those issues. And we're doing that with one of our clients right now. He was with another really good, well-respected agency, guys, for an entire year. And he was selling. He was growing. His revenue was going from $1,000 to $5,000. He got up to $30,000 a month in revenue, but he wasn't really making any profit. And that was the reason why he came to us, is like, hey guys, I've been with this agency for a year. We're growing. I'm getting sales, but like I'm at $30,000 and I can't make $1. And so we said, we need to like step back here and address the other core issues with your product. So we recently just did full new product photography and the sourcing that Owais mentioned. We found a supplier that can make his product at half the price, and we're managing all that for him. Our team is helping manage that for him. So it's just like, And we've been doing offer optimization, pricing, strategies and things. And it's a process, guys. Like this doesn't happen overnight. Obviously it can take weeks or sometimes months, right? To fine tune all these things. But I promise you, like if you spend the weeks or months to fix this, then the next years after are going to be much, much, much more profitable and fruitful for you. Again, it's going to be better for us. Like we're looking for people that we can be long-term partners in, right? Like we're not here to just burn and churn, like spend your money and then 3 months later, like see ya, next one up, let's take their money and wait for them to give up. We're looking for clients that like we can help you grow. We can help you scale. I know Owais has some clients that have been with him for years, and we want to build that relationship where, hey, we want to see you go from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month to who says you can't go to $1 million a month. So that's another big focus of ours. Now, Owais, we've talked to a lot of clients, we've gotten a lot of people, right? A lot of you guys, listeners, students of mine, showing interest in our services, our full management, PPC, SEO, whatever type of management or help they're needing. And there's a lot of students out there who maybe just don't quite have the budget or don't quite have the profitability for full account management right now. And maybe they do need to kind of fine tune some of those other things. What are some like maybe more budget friendly or maybe even one-time gig services that we could provide to some of these people who, like I said, maybe aren't quite ready to take the leap into account management?
Yeah, so we do cover this part as well. And if I mention it, one thing, like you have a brand, you're running PPC, managing everything, but you do not have budget to hire an agency. So recently we have an example of this part. One of Andy's student, I would say, we did the audit, a detailed brand audit, one-time gig. We took around 7 to 8 working business days. We properly dived deep into more than 50 plus data points, like their revenue, then their conversion metric, then the history of their keyword ranks, their PPC, and around 20 to 30 things in PPC part. We did everything, and then we figured out what is meaningful for them. I mean, instead of highlighting and saying, okay, so we checked A, B, C, D, E, F, we figured out the crux and mentioned to them, and we were very happy, like Andy and me, we both were very happy when Andy shared with me the news that, I mean, Andy will disclose, Andy will kind of share what impact or what change happened after that gig. So I'll complete my gig part. But along with this brand audit, we also do the PPC audit only. We also do the product validation audit. Like you have a brand, you have a product in your mind. Is it going to work on Amazon or not? Based upon our 5 to 6 plus years of experience, we can give you an advice. Okay, so it can work, but in this ABC scenario, don't go with the D scenario or E scenario. You have to be specific. It can work, but your pricing can be a fallacy here. You need to correct it. We also do the design selection audit. We also do the conversion rate optimization part. Like we check out in the free audit and we see, okay guys, so you need to improve your conversion. That's the only issue which we see, and for that we do an audit in detail and we give suggestions. So these are some things which are one-time part, but then again, these are two pretty good things from one perspective. These are a litmus test for you to check out the quality of our service, and then again, you can enjoy the impact if you have time to execute those things. The first part. The second part, you get in direction. Okay, so where should I need to put the effort? So a bit of highlight about the one-time gigs.
And I'll just throw this out there, guys. I know a lot of you listen to the podcast, but episode 335. Episode 335, go listen to it. You'll hear actually the results from that brand audit of one of my students of mine. So if you've already listened to that episode, you know what I'm talking about. If not, go take a listen to that one. Even other students, guys, like another one of my students, I'm going to keep it kind of vague just for the purpose of the podcast, but he actually just sent me a text. We brought him on board. And this is one of my students who's super successful, sold close to $500,000 last year, had a massive month. Again, if you listen to the podcast, you might know who I'm talking about. But we brought him on board at the beginning of the year. And he's someone too who actually was working with another agency because, you know, years ago I didn't have an agency. I wasn't offering this. So he was like, dude, I don't got time to do my ads. Can you do them? I'm like, I can't, dude. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna go hire this agency. He worked with an agency for a few months. I think it was like 6 months or so. But then he realized like, this agency like it isn't that good. They're not really doing anything. So he actually ditched the agency and went back to running the ads himself again and did well, like super good, you know, smart, successful seller. But then again, I got to the point where he's like, man, I just don't have time for this. Or he wants to launch another brand and do other business endeavors. So we brought him on board and he actually just texted me. This was literally 2 weeks ago. He said, Wevo's killing it with the flame emoji. It was halfway through the month of March. He was already at $48,000 in sales with $15,000 in net profit, up 12% from the month before. So got $15,000 profit in really half of the month of March. And he doesn't even have to think about it. And we were growing his sales. improving his ranking, and his brand continues just to crush it. Like, it just frees up a lot of time for you, right? To not have to worry about that, to not have to stress about that, knowing that your brand is being taken care of, it's being monitored, we're checking on things, we're optimizing things. And again, now he's like, hey, I want to launch this new brand in a hobby niche of his that, you know, is a passion project that he's excited about because now he has more time. So guys, if you are, and I'll mention this, I was going to mention this as well. Owais was talking about like the product validation. This is a huge piece for most people, right? Because most of the listeners, or a lot of people in my circle, are looking for that product to sell. Or maybe you're looking for the next product to sell. If you're already an existing brand owner, what's that next product going to be? Guys, this product validation service, I think, is so powerful and so important. This is a critical part of your business journey, making sure that your product and offer is just nailed down, that I included this in my Jaguar programs. So in my Jaguar Lite, in my full Jaguar program, this was one of the things I was so excited to add into both of those programs, because this is the key. If you nail the product, if you nail the offer, if you nail the design, like Owais said, there might be, you know, option A, B, C, and D, and you may not really know what bundle, what price, what design, what concept, what market. And if you go with the wrong one, it could be a terrible experience. But having a team we've looked at dozens of products, we've managed brands, we've seen what works, we've seen what doesn't work, we've been doing this for years. We have kind of that foresight to see what is going to make something successful and what is not. So this can save, you know, for a few $1,000s, right? If you're in a program, or a few $100s, depending on, right, what gig or service you go with. But, you know, utilizing us to help you validate your product idea, it can save, or potentially is what I should say, it can make you thousands of dollars over the course of the life of your brand. Owais, anything else that I missed?
PPC mistake, that's a reversible damage. You have poor creatives, that's a reversible damage. You have expensive sourcing, that's a reversible damage. You have selected a poor product, a wrong selection, and then you have spent 1 year on that, or maybe 3-4 months, maybe $20,000-$30,000 worth of inventory, maybe $2,000-$3,000 worth of creative, maybe $10,000-$20,000 worth of PPC, just to know that was not a right selection of product. That's a irreversible damage. So just see which thing is reversible, which thing is not reversible. So you would understand how important and significant this product validation part is. We're not saying, it's super, we are not trying to be super salesy, but then again, in my opinion, this is the one thing in your business, if you get it correct, every other problem can be fixed. There are service providers out there, and everyone. You won't find people doing the product validation for you. You won't find people even in masterminds, even in paid masterminds, doing the product validation for you. That's the importance of it.
They don't want that risk. That's the bottom line. That's why so many people aren't willing. And the other thing too is they just simply don't know, right? And so they're just not able to tell you. They're not able to do the research. They don't know. You know, they can, I can click ads and set up PPC. Like, that's a pretty learnable skill. But when it comes to really doing product validation and identifying winning products, that's experience. That's like expertise right there. So it's not something that you can just fake or learn from a YouTube video. Like, that's something that really just comes with time and working with someone trusted, who can kind of have that foresight and help you through that. Owais, let's end with this. I feel like I end with this question on most of my interviews, but it's something that I really like to hear. I'm really curious, honestly, myself personally. We've got listeners who are brand new, right? Just getting started through the process. And obviously, I think a lot of listeners of this episode will be interested, brand owners who might be looking to scale or having those issues with, I don't got time, I don't have the expertise to scale. What is one piece of advice you would give to our listeners? Something that they should focus on, or something that you think is important, or maybe even thinking, I'm giving you, this is a long question, I apologize, but even thinking into like 2024, the direction that Amazon is headed, the changes in the fees, artificial intelligence, increased competition, all these things. I know this is a loaded question, Owais, but I'm testing you here. With this future of Amazon and the direction we're headed, what is the one piece of advice you would give to these new brand owners or existing brand owners?
Do you want me to be super precise and super witty? Or do you want me to take 2-3 minutes to explain the advice part?
It's up to you. I got time. So you take
because
you need.
Andy didn't tell me about this question.
I'm
kind of very spontaneous from my side. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of advice. And first one is universal. Second one is specific to 2024. So the first one is, let's just spit it out in a witty way first, and then I would explain. Learn commerce before e-commerce. Learn to do business before e-commerce. So I would say, and still I would say, third time, this is $1 million advice. And the reason is people learn how to set up Amazon account, how to set up maybe TikTok shop account, how to set up Walmart account, how to use Helium 10, Jungle Scout, any other tool in the market, Keepa and everything. How to use Alibaba. They learn all these things. How to do creative. They do not learn how to do business. They do not learn the gap of demand and supply. How to maintain that gap of demand and supply. How to be better than your competitors. How to be in the shoes of your customer persona. How to think like them. Whatever you make, go on the other side of the table. Put yourself in the shoes of your customer persona. Then see how they're going to respond. Take proper feedbacks. This is what is required in every business in the world. Learn commerce first before e-commerce, and then, because many people see, okay, so I'm doing PPC in a very good way, etc., all these kind of things. The reason is you do not have that acumen of a businessman, and it will be developed with time. But then again, you need to realize that you need to learn it. You need to realize that taking a Jungle Scout tutorial is not enough, but make people help to make big businesses. What is the back-end logic? How do they think? So this is the first advice I would say. And I mean, platforms keep on coming and going and everything. You would ace as an e-commerce seller if you know the commerce before e-commerce. The first advice. The second advice, like particularly related to 2024. I mean, we have seen phases of Amazon, and just going to give you a pre-context in 10-15 seconds so you guys can realize the value of this advice. There has been phases on Amazon. Like there was a time in 2015 or 16 or 17, you do not need to even run ads. I mean, you start getting order once you list your product and maybe do 10-20 giveaways. That's it. Then came the phase of the coupons, a viral launch, jump send, zone jump. We are that much old. Then came the era of ManyChat. Then came the era of PPC. Now in 2024, it is the era of both things, two things. Like, if you guys notice and if you guys kind of re-listen what I said, the phases were related to the marketing part. Coupons, it's related to marketing. Giveaways, PPC, it's related to marketing. Right now in 2024, there are two upgrades. The first one is related to marketing. That is, try to build up your brand. Make sure, I mean, do influencer marketing, post up content and everything, but make sure in 1 year time period, your brand should have a branded search volume. That is a moat. That is a moat against increasing Chinese competition and against decreasing price and everything. So the first thing is build up your brand through influencer marketing, through posting content yourself, keeping in touch with your audience, building up your email list. So there is a whole long list, but do all these things. It's kind of essential. It's not a choice. It's kind of essential. If you're not doing it, you're going to stay behind. The second thing is, this is what I would say, this is what has happened in last 6-8 years in Amazon, and people who are right now in TikTok shop and everything, they would see that this thing will come in those platforms as well once they become competitive. That is, know your customer and make a product which you know is better than your competitor. I mean, you need to define this. You need to be better than the top 4 competitors in your product. You need to be better than them. It's not like, I mean, you need to quantify this part. Once you have done everything and you're good to place the bulk order with the supplier, you need to see, okay, so if there are 4 products of the competitors and mine is the 5th one, is it better than them? If not, there is something missing. There is something. It can be some smart strategy. I mean, we can go for odds and odds. I mean, even Andy is playing such a smart strategy, I would say, in Remy and Drew, that it is at least $500,000 advice. But still, the point is, maybe you're beating them in the marketing strategy. Maybe you're beating them in sourcing. Maybe you're beating them in better conversion, better creatives. Anyway, find out the gaps, find out the white patches, build up your brand on that part, and for that, you need to know your customer better. This is on the product development side, and this is what has become essential in 2024 right now. In 3-4 years back, if you're just copy pasting your competitors' products and spending more on ads, it used to work, but now it won't, because there are people with deep pockets, deep pockets, deep like big ocean. So if you want to make your product successful or brand successful with less budget, you need to be better in the second advice which I gave you. So yeah, these are the 2 ones from my side.
We should have scheduled on our calendars 2 hours for this podcast episode. We could go on, guys. Sometimes me and Owais, we meet every week, and sometimes our meetings go for hours because we're just jamming and talking strategy and things. I have to say this, Owais. I know we're going longer than usual on time, but I want to add this and I want to reiterate what you just said, because it is $500,000 advice, literally, guys. I love what you said about learn commerce before e-commerce. learn commerce before e-commerce and you'll be successful. I have people who come to me, guys, with Reminru, right? I've even had people say like, Andy, how are you qualified to coach people in this world of Amazon? What if you just got lucky? I've only launched one brand on Amazon. Yeah, it's a multi-million-dollar brand and we crushed it the first try. And like people say, well, what if you're just lucky? Like you don't really know Amazon. That was just luck. It wasn't luck. And it wasn't luck because I know commerce. I knew commerce. We knew commerce before we ever launched Reminru. And then the second thing that Owais said, if you guys listen, go rewind and listen back to it again. You have to know your customer. He said, build your brand for 2024, but this even applied the last 5 years. Build your brand and know your customer. Guys, the reason why my brand is successful and why it's still relevant when people copy us, knock off our products, sell lower price variations of it, the reason why we're successful, we continue to grow and gain fans, gain followers is because we know our customer. This was not built from like, oh, I went into Jungle Scout and I was like, oh, dog bandanas. That sounds like a cool business to start. No, my wife was hand sewing dog bandanas. The opportunity score, I've told people, the opportunity score on Jungle Scout was like 3 out of 10. It didn't matter. As long as there was demand, we were going to crush it because we knew how to run a business. We knew how customers' mindset work. I went to business school. We already knew this. We knew like, what are we looking for? How do you connect with a customer? How do you build a good offer? How do you build a good brand? We knew all that. So all we had to do was just do it. And we did it. And now we're a multi-million-dollar brand. And again, the students, guys, the students of mine who are successful, who are selling hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars per year on Amazon, the ones who are successful, exact same thing. They know their customer, they know business, they know consumer mindset, consumer behavior, specifically of theirs, right? Why people buy. I can't tell you guys how many people random message me on Instagram that are like, Andy, I'm selling this product on Amazon. It's not selling very well. Can you check it out for me? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I click on it, go to their listing, look at it. And I'm just like, they have their product sitting there for $40. All the other Chinese competitors are selling the exact same thing for $10, but their product is no better. It's no different. There's no brand. I've never heard, like, where's your social? Like, there's nothing special about it. And so I like asked him, I was like, why would anyone buy your product? And it really hurts to say that, but they can't answer. I asked him like, would you buy yours for $40? No. I'm like, then why would anyone else buy yours? So if you guys aren't like understanding those core principles that I always mentioned, right? You're going to waste a lot of time doing this and you're going to have a lot of heartache doing this. So make sure you understand business, understand customers, understand the psychology, understand your product, your offer, why it's better. You have to be able to answer all those questions. And I promise you guys, the rest of this is just implementing. Like I always said, the rest of this is reversible. You can tweak images and tweak PPC. We can fix and fine tune those things, but it all starts with the brand and the offer. Owais, again, I know, sorry, we could go, for so long talking about that. We'll have to book another podcast episode here, but I appreciate you taking the time to hop on the podcast today. A new father, go spend time with your new baby. So now me and Owais can talk about having little kids and new baby. So congrats again on that. But yeah, guys, we're excited to help you. We're excited to help your brands grow. Reach out to us. I'm sure there's a way, whether or not you're a good fit for brand management or PPC or that. I'm sure there's other things like what we mentioned, brand audit, product validations that we can help you with to make sure you guys are successful. Owais, thanks again for stopping by the podcast today. All right, take care.